heart of suburban America, where families thrived and children played, a monster lurked behind a painted smile. John Wayne Gacy, a man known to his community as a hard-working businessman, a generous neighbor, and a jovial clown, hid a darkness that would shock the world. Between 1972 and 1978, Gacy murdered at least 33 young men and boys, earning him the chilling moniker, the Killer Clown. This is the story of one of America's most infamous serial killers, a tale of deception, horror, and the fragility of trust. John Wayne Gacy was born on March 17, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois, the second of 3 children in a working-class family. His father, John Stanley Gacy, was a World War I veteran and machinist, while his mother, Marion, was a homemaker. To the outside world, the Gacys appeared to be an ordinary family, but beneath the surface, young John's life was marked by turmoil. His father was a domineering figure, an alcoholic prone to verbal and physical abuse. John Sr. belittled his son, calling him weak and a disappointment, often mocking his weight and perceived lack of masculinity. This toxic dynamic shaped Gacy's early years, planting seeds of insecurity and rage. Despite this, Gacy idolized his father and desperately sought his approval, a quest that would haunt him for life. As a child, Gacy suffered a head injury at age 11 after being hit by a swing, leading to blackouts and seizures that went undiagnosed for years. Some experts later speculated that this injury may have contributed to his psychological instability, though no definitive link was ever proven. Gacy was also overweight and unathletic, making him a target for bullying at school. Yet he showed early signs of charm and ambition, traits that would later serve his double life. By his teens, Gacy was already adept at wearing masks, both literal and figurative. He became involved in community activities, volunteering for political campaigns and local organizations, always eager to be seen as a pillar of society. But behind this facade, a darker side was emerging. In the 1960s, Gacy moved to Waterloo, Iowa, where he married his first wife, Marlyn Myers, and took a job managing a chain of Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants owned by his father-in-law. To the community, Gacy was a success story, a family man with a knack for business and a flair for entertaining. He was active in the local JCs, a civic organization, and even organized charity events. But beneath this polished exterior, Gacy's impulses were beginning to surface. In 1968, Gacy's life took a dark turn when he was arrested for sexually assaulting 2 teenage boys. He had lured the boys to his home under the pretense of scientific experiments, a tactic he would later perfect. Convicted of sodomy, Gacy was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but served only 18 months due to good behavior. During his time in prison, his wife divorced him, and he lost contact with his 2 children. Upon his release in 1970, Gacy returned to Chicago, determined to rebuild his life. He remarried to Carol Hoff and started a construction business, PDM Contractors. To his new neighbors in Norwood Park, Gacy was a friendly, hard-working man who threw lively parties and dressed as Pogo the Clown to entertain children at community events. But the mask of normalcy was slipping. Between 1972 and 1978, John Wayne Gacy embarked on a killing spree that would claim the lives of at least 33 young men and boys, most between the ages of 15 and 22. His victims were often vulnerable, runaways, drifters, or young men looking for work. Gacy lured them to his home at 8213 West Summerdale Avenue with promises of jobs, money, or alcohol. Once inside, Gacy's methods were chillingly consistent. He would offer his victims drinks spiked with sedatives, then restrain them using handcuffs or ropes. Many were subjected to prolonged torture and sexual assault before being strangled or suffocated. Gacy disposed of most of his victims' bodies in the crawlspace beneath his home, a cramped, damp area that would later become a grim testament to his crimes. When the crawlspace ran out of room, he dumped bodies in nearby rivers. Gacy's double life was meticulously maintained. By day, he was a respected contractor and community figure, hosting barbecues and political fundraisers. By night, he was a predator, cruising Chicago's streets for victims. His clown persona, Pogo, became a haunting symbol of his ability to hide in plain sight. To those who knew him, Gacy was charming and generous, but to his victims, he was a merciless killer. The downfall of John Wayne Gacy began with the disappearance of 15-year-old Robert Piest in December 1978. Peast, a high school student, was last seen at a pharmacy where he worked, talking to Gacy about a job opportunity. When Peast failed to return home, his family contacted the police, sparking an investigation that would unravel Gacy's house of horrors. Detectives quickly zeroed in on Gacy, who had a prior conviction for sexual assault. They obtained a search warrant for his home and were immediately struck by a putrid odor emanating from the crawl space. On December 21, 1978, police began excavating the property, uncovering a gruesome scene, body after body, some reduced to skeletal remains, buried in shallow graves. The crawl space yielded 29 victims, while 4 others were later found in nearby rivers. Gacy was arrested on December 21, 1978. During interrogation, he initially denied the murders but soon began to confess, providing chilling details of his crimes. He claimed to have multiple personalities, including Jack and Pogo, and blamed his alter egos for the killings. Investigators were horrified by his lack of remorse and the sheer scale of his atrocities. In March 1980, John Wayne Gacy's trial began in Chicago, captivating the nation. Prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence: the bodies found in his home, forensic analysis, and Gacy's own confessions. The defense argued that Gacy was insane, citing his troubled childhood, head injury, and claims of multiple personalities. However, psychiatric evaluations deemed him sane and capable of understanding his actions. The trial was a media circus, with Gacy's clown persona dominating headlines. Survivors who had escaped his clutches testified about his predatory tactics, painting a picture of a calculating killer. After a 6-week trial, the jury deliberated for less than 2 hours before finding Gacy guilty on 33 counts of murder. On March 13, 1980, Gacy was sentenced to death. He spent the next 14 years on death row, painting clown portraits and maintaining his innocence to the press. His appeals were repeatedly denied, and on May 10, 1994, Gacy was executed by lethal injection at Stateville Correctional Center in Illinois. His final words, reportedly, were a defiant, "Kiss my ass." The case of John Wayne Gacy left an indelible mark on American society. It exposed the vulnerability of marginalized youth, the limits of law enforcement in tracking serial killers, and the terrifying reality that evil can hide behind a friendly face. The term "killer clown" became synonymous with Gacy, inspiring fear of clowns in popular culture and influencing works like Stephen King's It. For the families of Gacy's victims, the pain endures. Many victims remained unidentified for years, their families left in limbo. Advances in DNA technology have since helped identify some of the unknown, bringing closure to a few. Gacy's home was demolished in 1979, and a new house stands in its place, but the site remains a grim reminder of his crimes. Criminologists and psychologists continue to study Gacy, seeking to understand the mind of a serial killer. Was he a product of his abusive upbringing? Did his head injury play a role? Or was he simply a sociopath who thrived on power and control? The answers remain elusive, but Gacy's story serves as a warning. Monsters don't always look like monsters. John Wayne Gacy's legacy is one of horror, loss, and lessons unlearned. His crimes forced America to confront the darkness that can lurk in plain sight, challenging our notions of trust and safety. As we remember the lives he stole, we are reminded that evil can wear many faces, even the painted smile of a clown.